Tango 1 at the top, we are at pop-up control. 10-4, Tango 1, you have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action, find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple.
You're ruining that the Tango 1 podcast.
Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
It's weird. So everybody, welcome to the Tango 1 podcast. I'm Tony Smith, and this is obviously my co-host, Casey Wright. We're here every week to challenge you to live the tactical life by creating a plan of action against your weaknesses. And simply put, we want you to do more and be more. So, man, first virtual podcast with Casey and I. Last time we stayed together the whole time, but since the numbers are up and there's a stay-at-home order, we thought we would actually listen up and not be in the same room together. So today's episode, we want to talk about some stuff, man. I want to talk about your big news. So let's have her. Let's just get right after it. If you guys haven't heard, you've been under a rock, you haven't heard the big heartfelt announcement. Let's do it.
The big announcement. Yeah, I got a position with the Richmond Hill Fire Department for a full-time fire position, which I'm very, very excited about and proud to have worked towards. The sad part of that is kind of stepping away from that head trainer position at the gym. So it's been a big last couple of weeks and really last couple of months have been a lot of adjusting and trying to figure out what the next steps are going to be for all of that. But that's it. It's just super, super excited for the next little while.
Oh man, I'm crazy proud of you. I mean, I know it sucks from a business standpoint. It's even harder on me from like an uncle standpoint or whatever the hell I am to these days. But that part, but I am like at the same time, I kind of compared it to probably when my boys leave home. It's kind of like very happy. You don't want them to always be here and you want them to chase their dreams, but at the same time, you're gonna miss them like crazy. And all the listeners, don't worry, Casey and I, this technology and with him coming up and down and Brooke still, they're still having this house here. We'll be seeing plenty of each other. We'll be recording or hopefully live. I don't want to do too many of these Zoom ones, but hopefully we'll be recording live together all the time. But the podcast is still.
That's what's kind of cool with the way things have been. Like one thing COVID's forced people into is realizing how accessible you are, even if it is from, an hour, a few hours away. It's the exact same as if we're down the road from each other, but in our own basement filming stuff. So luckily that's showing the accessibility to people by doing it virtually and it's not that far of a drive.
Yeah, you know what, the sound and stuff and the quality is right there when you do these virtual ones, which is great. But I miss the interaction. I like having this. I'm a same room kind of guy. Yeah. But I mean, yesterday I did a podcast. It's the last episode that aired. If you guys didn't listen, to Andrew Tracy, UK men's health guy and super fitness trainer for a long time that I've known in London, England, he was about 20 kilometers outside of London, England. And it was just like this. The only holdup was trying to figure out time zones, which is a pretty cool situation. Who knew that with a Tango 1 podcast, if you're going overseas. Yeah. So, man, let's talk a little bit about your job there. So you said Richmond Hill. I don't know if you said that in the intro or not, but Richmond Hill Fire, which is, if people don't know, it's just east of Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Just kind of northwest of Toronto.
Northwest. Oh, I thought it was on the other side. Well, that's even better.
Yeah. So it's just up there and it's kind of like, it's a highly populated area. Very like metropolitan, a lot of residential areas, but it's going to be like a shock compared to like small town Amherstburg and going up there, and it'll be busy, but the whole thing just seems exciting. I'm starting off with 16 weeks of recruit class, but it's kind of set up that way. So you go up and you're with the training officers in your recruit class for those 16 weeks where you're in the classroom, in the field, and doing everything, basically relearning from square one and then building on everything basically been training for the last few years. And I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to learning a lot of the technical skills of everything to do with the job.
Yeah. Do you know what the kind of like, is there a physical part of this? Like, is this a pass fail? Is this like
The
well, I
physical,
assume it's like police college, right? It's kind of a pass fail, but like they're going to do everything can to make you pass.
it's a little bit, yeah. So basically you had to have you have to have everything in order to get into this position, right? So you had to have your schooling done. You had to go through their physical testing. They had to go through the interviews and everything just to get into a spot on the job. And then it's basically now you're a member of their department, and exactly that. You have to basically, you can't fail through it, right? So you go through and you push yourself through it, and then once you get through that final part and you graduate, now you are on the road and you're a full member or probational member of the department, and at that point is when you'll be on the road with your platoon.
Nice. I don't want to mislead people like nobody fails type thing.
Yeah.
But the job as any good coach or instructor is to get, like, even when somebody's doing a job interview, that's kind of a cool thing that people don't know. I think with the police service and the fire departments, at least, I can't speak for business, but the job as an interviewer or a coach or anything is to get the most out of the candidate. Like, you want these people to succeed. You want them to help them get there. Some don't have what it takes and they won't make it, but that is what it is.
Yeah, someone made a good point of that one time. Like, I remember going through interview processes and someone like literally was just like, you are in an interview because they want to hire you. So basically all you want to do in that interview is reassure them that they're talking to the right person and reassure them that you're the proper candidate and you're the one that they're going to want, which kind of drops the nerves down, because a lot of times you're thinking you have to do so much to impress them and go overboard when it's, you've obviously impressed them to the point of sitting down and talking to them. Now be yourself, and your personality is what's going to sell you the rest of the way.
Yeah. Kind of opposite of a garage gym interview, really, though.
Yes. Very different.
Like, as I say about trying to get the most out of a candidate. I try to get nothing out of a candidate except for break them down and then, and then put them through some work. So, man, we're just a few hours away, though some people listen to this later. We're just a few hours away from the big showdown. So Casey versus Riley. Speaking of not a normal job situation, both of them missed a shift or were late for shifts or slept in, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was so long ago at this point, but this has been hanging over their heads. And part of what we do here is like, we do things a little different. So that was their punishments. But you are getting punished a little bit worse. So today's race at the FYF is going to be, Riley has to do 2,000 meters on the rower and Casey has to do 3,000 meters on the rower. I mean, I made a joke of it. We act on another 1,000 meters to Casey because he's leaving us. So that's like his dues on the way out. So we're setting precedent. Next employee that leaves us has to do 3K for time. So a big race. I don't know, man. I'm doing these numbers. Do you think you've got a chance? 1,000 meters is a fucking lot of meters.
It's a lot. I need to be at an extremely fast and aggressive pace where I need Riley to kind of slip through the cracks and slow down a lot.
Did you do the math on this? Like, what's the strategy?
So if I'm staying within like just below 2 minutes as a pace, then I'll end in at 12 minutes for a 3K, which isn't that great when you look at numbers and like race wise. So that's the bare minimum. And then, so I plan to kind of hover that hopefully around 2K. And then I'm going to just be unfortunately in pain and I'm just going to go as hard as I can to the end. Because even if you go through a good 7K or 2K, then you're flying through, like your goal is to get sub 7.
Yeah, so, the men's standard, standard as the Jim Jones outlined it, and we kind of adopted that for the garage gym was a 7-minute 2K was kind of always the number, and it's a 144 per 500 pace.
Right. So
you got a clip, man. I should adjust these numbers. Maybe we should drop that to 25. I want you to have a chance. I don't want
because even if I stay on that pace, I'm still ending up around 11 minutes or 10 and a half minutes.
And there's no way Riley pulls under. And there's no way she's over 9.5. I'm going to call Riley in at like 9.5. I'd love to see her come sub 9. She's been working hard.
Yeah, she has been. But even if you go slow and run through it pretty casually, it should never take you more than, not say that, but 2K should never take more than 10 minutes. And then to get 3K in 10 minutes is an extremely incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if she comes over 10 minutes in her 2K, we might have to let her go. We'll see.
we'll then make her do the extra 1,000. That's her departure.
Yeah. Right, extra. She has to actually do another 2K while you finish your K. So all that being said, so let's talk about the hiring process, the garage gym. So when Casey came around, you guys have probably heard this story. Kieran Winter. I mean, another thing, we're just super proud of the people that we keep putting through the garage gym on our team. Kieran getting hired with, Toronto Police. We had Garrett get hired with Windsor Police, and Marissa leave to go and chase her dreams of being an underwater welder. Basically, I think is what she's doing, but it's like some kind of deep sea diving thing. It's pretty sweet. So that just makes me super proud as an employer. But Casey's interview, so he came around, there wasn't really an interview. It was like, oh, can you start today?
Yeah, it was quick because it was funny because I came back into town. I was up north doing forest fire, and then I was coming back into town and kind of looking for something. I was looking at like odd jobs. I was renovating people's basements. Then I was working at a daycare. I was doing like random things, and I ran into Kieran at a bar one night, and we were like joking around, brought up the whole gym idea that he's always involved with. And he said, yeah, come check out this gym. I'll talk to my boss. Thought nothing of it. Sent him a message, I think the next day or the day after, saying like, I know it was 2 a.m. and we were bullshitting at the bar, but if this is legit, let me know. So he sent me a message to come into a quick little interview with his boss, and then they're going to do a workout. It's a Friday, so Fridays are always super fun at the gym. So come in maybe a half hour early, talk to Tony, and then we'll see what happens after that. And then, yeah, I come in, talk to you for maybe 20 minutes, and then we did a pretty severe row relay, I believe, to start it off. And then you just said, okay, you have a job. Can you start as soon as possible?
Yeah, we started you off like really, really part-time because frankly, we didn't need you. That's what's kind of a hold up with this whole hiring process when a small business is like, when you see somebody that has some kind of potential and somebody speaks highly of them, you don't want to let them walk out your door. So you kind of hire people before you need them. And we knew Karen, that's what Danny always calls him, Karen. We knew that Kiwi was on borrowed time. And just like you, I mean, that's the one unfortunate thing about these hirings for me is that like the Windsor Police like shit the bed, letting Kiwi go up to Toronto. Windsor Fire, I hope you guys are listening. I hope somebody from Windsor Fire is listening right now. You shit the bed, letting this kid slide up to Richmond Hill. Like it makes no sense to me, but he was on borrowed time. So it was a good timing, and we had a lot of construction to do, and you were handy, which worked out very well as you were building what turned out to be our podcast studio. Who knew at the time, as it wasn't really in the plans. And you started doing that. And that was like the first thing that I took away from you. The thing that so I'm like not looking for a fitness trainer. I'm looking for somebody who has the potential to be a great coach. And you liked fitness. Obviously you're an athlete. That was all on board, but I was always super impressed. I was coming into the gym and you were working unsupervised. So you were working unsupervised, building this stuff, keeping like detailed notes of when you were working. And like when I came in, you were never not working. Everybody knows that when you work on salary for me, I really don't care what you're doing at any point, as long as you're following our values and the integrity, and you're also getting your work done. So I could care less. But when I'm paying somebody by the hour, I am like pretty bent about like, I don't want you on your phone every 5 minutes. I don't want you sitting, taking breaks constantly. I want you getting your shit done. And you were doing it and you were being super honest with it. So that was like the first step way. Then there was the big trust moment. So this one's going to sound messed up, guys. And I swear it's innocent, but I delivered this air conditioner, this air conditioner, one of those big ones that like sticks in your window, but it doesn't stick out the window. It's got the hose, and you can wheel it around. So I delivered this air conditioner to the upstairs, our office, which is now our studio normally. And I leave it there. We're going to install it because we were running our meetings up there and it's boiling hot. We wanted to cool it down. And at the same time, I had this gun that I was trying to get rid of, and not out of a negative way. I was turning it into police because it was just like some issues that had been passed down from generation to generation. I just wanted in my house. So I take this gun, I end up losing the key and where it goes. So I hide it in the air conditioner. And then the police officer who was coming to get it ends up canceling on me and I forget it's there. Lo and behold, I had moved the gun not knowing and put it back to where it should be safely. But I had this panic attack that there's a gun in the gym, and Casey's there working. And so I'll tell you that I'll let you take it from there. I love this story.
Yeah, well, that was, again, I'm early on. Now
Yeah, we've known
it's
each other for
another,
like 10 days.
Now it's a daily text. But before, I was sitting there and I was working upstairs, I think, and then I just get a text like, "Hey, I need you to do something." Okay, yeah, whatever. All of it, and it's like, "I need you to go into the AC unit, open to where the water collects, and just check if there's a gun." And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" Like, yeah, just see if there's. I might have put a gun inside the AC unit. I just need you to get it in there and
don't
take
say
it
anything.
out. And this never happened. So I guess until right now, it's been said now. But yeah, I was like, okay, that's where I'm at now. This is the place. This is how we do things. So checked. It wasn't there. Obviously, at some point, you had decided to make a better decision and put it somewhere safer.
Yes, yes. I am
Yeah, it
not
turned out to
condoning
be
that
there.
to everybody. It was like a weird circumstance. I was running around and I couldn't find the key to put it away properly. Anyways, long story short, there was
the
no gun
ultimate
there, and I
test.
turned the gun in. But like it was like the test, and I feel like you like didn't know me well enough not to know that it wasn't a test. I think I was like, "Hey, there's a gun in a gardening glove. Can you check it here?"
Yeah.
And I remember Danny looking at me like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, "Hey, go grab a bag, a burlap bag, a shovel, meet me." We used to call our team, the tag team. We'd call these new guys in the middle of the night, and we're like, "Hey, I need you to come to work. I need you to bring rubber gloves, a burlap bag, and a shovel." And like you'd see like the guys would be, "Oh, okay," like start to roll into work, and then you're like, everybody's just start laughing, right? You're trying to get that loyalty test. So you passed. It was legit, but you still passed.
Good. That was huge. Then I knew I was in.
So like if from here we go. Let me let you pat me on the back a little bit and our team. So what would you say like from your takeaways, and not even actually with the team and everything, like just in the gym in general, the garage gym army, the settings, the things we've done. I remember you being pretty new when we did the first row, and I remember how moved you were by it. Like, what are some of the highlights that you would say leaving the garage gym? And don't be afraid to use like names of some members who might have really affected you too.
Yeah, I think when just starting off, because it was new to me, I found it very interesting. The way like transitioning from sports, I found there's a lot of like, I remember being done with university sports and finding that like you're just in like that lull kind of for a while, trying to figure out like what you're gonna do. I was lucky enough to find a job with forest fire for a few years, which brought me back to that like team atmosphere. But then when I was done that, obviously I had career driven to find a fire position somewhere, but I never thought that it really existed kind of in any other platform besides from one of those city jobs. So when I went in there and that first workout I did, it was really like, holy shit, like this isn't a football team or a soccer team or something, but the atmosphere is the same. And there's so many different walks of life in this room, but the atmosphere is similar, and like that drive and motivation with everyone going on, I just found that like incredible. And so that really intrigued me into the job itself. And then as kind of went through the job and got to learn the coaching side of things, the whole thing just became like, I found a passion for it. Like it's something I never in a million years thought like, oh, this is an avenue I'm going to go down. But just the way that people were and how people reacted and how the team kind of stuck together with everything and how really close family knit it became. I just found that just very intriguing. And then you enjoy it and you kind of fall into that. And when you look at it as a job, it's not like it's one of those things that you almost remind yourself, like when you get paid or your bank statement comes in, you forget that you actually get paid to do this kind of thing. Right. So that's what I always found that I loved about it, because it was just fun being in there. It was fun, the fitness side of things, but it was fun talking to all these people who are members of all these other jobs and parts of the community. And when you're talking to them and teaching them and learning new things through seminars that we got to do, it was just a great atmosphere and a good way to spend my time basically. So that's what I found the coolest thing about it was. And that's where I attribute it to you and Danny, and what you've created is it's really not a job, right? There's obviously jobs too, like there's parts to it where you're working and it's not always the most fun thing, but you created an environment that it's really just exciting to be in. And you're you're getting paid to go hang out with great people. You're getting paid to go hang out with motivated and exciting people who are there to do something for themselves. With the employees you're working with, they're all there for the same reason. They're all upbeat, excited. And it's just the whole atmosphere is fun to do. And every once in a while you gotta scrub a toilet. But other than that, it's great. Like it's just it's fun, and the atmosphere you've built is just incredible.
Best part about COVID, no more toilet scrubbing after the nervous. When I see people walk in and they see the FYF and they get nervous and they go handle their business. I hate that. Anyways, but no, man, I think that watching from the outside in and watching you and so the other employees that we've seen really develop and kind of grow up, for lack of a better word, in the gym is like, I think it's the one thing that young people really need to work on. And I think it's all young people. And I think it's getting worse because of situations like this, where we're, there's a lot. I did a presentation the other night in a grade 12 class and not one person had their camera on. And I'm like, that is so important, that face to face, that like seeing somebody's reaction, being able to look, read the room when I say something. Did it make them uncomfortable? Did it make them laugh? Because like, that's what it's about. That's what coaching is about. When you say something, you can tell by the reaction of the person that inspired them, that closed them off. Those are the little fine things that like, eventually you're going to move up in that fire department, and whether it's actual rank or leadership, like we know that those are two different things. That your ability to communicate and to read the room and to own the room and to, control how you, when it's a good time for humor, when's a bad time for humor, that's all so important. I think that's watching that and the array of people. Like you experience some things. You've experienced people who had loss, people who had, illnesses, like some real negative things, divorces. Like you've seen some people and some people that are older than you doing situations that, you're going to come across, whether it's as a friend or as a leader or, in your own life, and seeing how they dealt with it and helping them deal with it. And then also seeing the positives, seeing people get jobs, seeing people get scholarships. It's just all these different situations by the bigger array of people you surround yourself with. And I think that's where us as football players, sometimes it's like, me, you and Kiwi, we could be in the same room, but we're kind of interchangeable, and it doesn't, you add value to each other's friendship through friendship and support, but you're not adding value through like expansive knowledge that comes in. And I think that's where the garage gym kind of sets itself apart. And
Definitely.
Any community gym, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what, like, there is a correlation, like you said there. I think with sports and football in specific, because that's what we can relate to, is the great thing that I've always loved about a football team, for example, is the locker room and how different everybody is. Right. I think like you look at hockey players, aside from the goalie, they're always a little different, but hockey players, they're all the same kind of mentality. They're all the same kind of person. But you look at a football field, or you look at a locker room of a football team, you've got your skilled players, you've got your receivers, your DBs, you've got your linebackers, your running backs, your quarterbacks, you've got your centers, you got your offensive line, defensive line. Each one of those areas, people are so different. Like just in the way of their mindset, the way they are, the way they act. But being within that team is you get exposed to all different types of people. And with that, being able to, and like I've been lucky enough to be in a quarterback position where you have to, if you want to be respected and well liked by the team, you have to get along with everyone, or at least find commonalities with it. So you have to at least understand people and each different little group. Now coming into a job like this, it was weird at first because I'm not now being surrounded by different kind of types of people, but also different ages and different ranges, different jobs, different mentalities. And that was something that once I could figure out, I found very beneficial too, because now it's weird being a younger person coming in and coaching somebody who's, twice your age. And unless you know what you're talking about at first, or trying to break that barrier as to, I am a young kid, but I know what I'm talking about, finding that and being able to express it. And later now having those people kind of message me and say like, thank you for things you taught me. I think that's the coolest part of it all, is being able to go. That was the big change I found, is being so nervous, just trying to relate to really different age groups, I found was a big thing. And then now to have people in kind of multiple age groups, saying they've learned stuff from me on the training side, or even just on kind of attitude and perspective. I think that's the coolest thing that's really grown from all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a show a few days ago and they were asking me what it was like to be a 21-year-old police officer, and that's what I said. It was like very weird going into people's houses as a guy who, you just bought your first house, so you're older than I was at that time, but I went in, I didn't have a house, I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids, I don't really have a care in the world other than like coming to work and enjoying life. And it was very awkward and weird. And I think that the relationships and the development that you've had, basically leading, coaching people that are, 2, sometimes 3. There's the people in our gym that are 3 times your, or 3 times your age, really. Like we have people in their 60s that are super successful and, have done so many things in your life. And now they have to listen to like, you at 23, 24, whatever you were when you got hired, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to speak about a couple of people that I know are going to miss you dearly, because I got messages from them yesterday or after your announcement. Murray Insurance. So Ian and Kara Murray. This episode and all episodes are sponsored by Murray Insurance and Financial Services in Kingsville, Ontario. They are Southwestern Ontario's #1 ranked Desjardins insurance agency by their clients, and they are owned by the Garage Gym OGs, Ian and Kara Murray. Ian and Kara's team pride themselves on many of the high standards the Garage Gym has come to expect. They're experts in their industry. They're the best in customer service, and they focus on community, employing local team members, investing back in Essex County on a continual basis. They are a one-stop shop for everything to protect you and your family and your assets with the best policies in the industry. And if you combine everything you got with them, you'll get even better rates. Give their team a call today at 519-733-2331, or check them out online at murrayinsurance.ca. And you can find them on all platforms, or hit us up in the show notes and you can see it there. So speaking of insurance, we had some excitement this week in the gym. I did, at least. So I come into work on whatever it was. It doesn't even matter. I guess it was Wednesday morning, because I'm about to do my strength squad. And I'm always there 4:35, 4:40 at the very latest. But I was running late. I was really struggling getting out of bed. And I walk into work 10 to 5. And I'm like trying to get the stupid Zoom thing going. You know how the mic never attaches properly. Trying to get ready because I know my group's about to come on. It's freezing cold. And now I know why it's so freezing cold. I hear like traffic behind me, and I look behind me, and the window is smashed out and there's a brick on the ground. And I think somebody just, pissed, whether they think, oh my God, I don't know what it was, but I'm like, things going through it. It didn't really faze me. I'm like, oh man, somebody threw a brick through the window. I've been here this long. I can't believe it took this long to happen. And I don't think much of it. I go over to the computer. I'm going to call the police after, and I'm just going to do a report. I'm a cop, ex-cop, and I really didn't think like anybody came in. It didn't look like it. There's such a small hole in jagged glass, single pane glass. And then dispatch calls and they say, hey, there's somebody in your building. And I'm like, oh no, it's me. There's a hole in the window. They said, no, they saw somebody smash in. They've gone in and taken some stuff out and they've gone back in. And I'm like, oh shit, like there's somebody here right now. And I'm feeling myself getting like the old me. I'm getting all turned on. I'm ready to find somebody in this place and rip them apart. And turns out the police show up right after a guy got hired with a super awesome guy, Sean, comes in, and they said, oh no, actually we caught him. So it would have been real hard for us to tell, but because what was missing, because there's so much stuff and we've got everything lent out, it would have taken me like days to figure it out. But anyway, this guy comes in, steals a barbell and 4 plates. Like, how fucking crazy is it? It's like the Hunger Games out there right now. That's and crazy, I didn't tell you this, right? We just got an anonymous call. Somebody called yesterday and said that while Danny and I were there the night before with our kids, doing some workouts and cleaning up since it's about to be the lockdown, somebody came up to the front window, took a picture of us inside, or took a picture of the gear they wanted to steal, I guess. And the rumor is this kid wanted to put a home gym in. It wasn't even to like steal it and sell it, turn it into whatever. Like, what a big mistake. 19 years old, man. I mean, man, if you would have just knocked, I probably would have rented him something for next to nothing. Like, if he just said, hey man, I'm really hard up, I want to get bigger and stronger, I would have helped him out. Bummer.
That's crazy.
Bummer.
Crazy what it's come to.
Yeah, and I mean, they got the glass fixed. I had no idea what that's going to cost us. Great timing. That was day one of the actual like stay-at-home order.
Day one of lockdown. Official full lockdown. That's hilarious.
What was the worst job you've done for us, other than like cleaning toilets? Like, we don't need to talk about that. It's
worst
Riley's job now, though. Riley.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's been a few times I've had to cut the rubber matting, like the thick, like 1.5 rubber matting with an X-Acto knife
On my driveway, the ones that were like
on the driveway in the gym. It's not necessarily, it's just tedious and it hurts. Your hands are killing you by the end of it. And it'd be like not one piece or two pieces. It'd be like, hey, we've got about 60 yards of rubber matting that we need cut into the gym. So do you mind doing that? It's like, absolutely. Yes, for sure.
so
That's
okay.
probably got to stand out as one of the more uncomfortable things to do.
I'm trying to think of one of the worst things. I think one of the worst things I made you do was the 30-day challenge last year. We bought Trainer Eyes. We hooked up with Trainer Eyes, and we bought the software, and we had like literally like 7 days before the start of this challenge. And I'm like, no, we will get it done, guys.
That was a mentally one. We were going through the meeting and we're all right, it's 30-day challenge. What are we going to do here? We'll try to do it on this app we've been using that we've been working with, and let's do a 30-day challenge. Let's input, 30 days worth of workouts, instant messaging, all this stuff, videos for each exercise, each workout. And by the way, we're going to use a different app. So we're going to switch it. And it's like, we start in 10 days. Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, so just this, I've heard great things about this app. So let's use it. Trainer Eyes, it's way better. Let's use that. So you'll just have to learn it, program it, set it up, and get it ready for next week. And we did. It was a great app. It's been the best thing for us, but it was definitely a time crunch, but we got through it.
I think that was one of the
mentally more challenging things.
Most resisted decisions I've made at the garage gym by the team. I mean, you guys were not happy, and I remember just saying like, "Hey, stop telling me why you can't, because it's happening. So tell me how we're going to do this, and what can we do to help?" And the team, you know what? The team came together strong. You guys put in some long ass hours, and we all contributed.
That was the mindset thing too. Is like, yeah, we were resistant because I just saw it. How much work it was going to be going into this, when it's like, we already have a platform we could use this on. But once it was finally like, okay, it's happening, switch the brain set, and it's like, all right, it's happening. Now let's see how we can do it and how quick we can get it done, and how well we can put this thing together. So once that mental kind of switch went, it was game on, and it was fun to learn and do, but it was just tedious adding. I remember, I think one morning I sat there and added, I think 160 or 180 videos into the app. And it's just each video is like 8 clicks. You just have to follow the sequence, and you just sit there, do the same 8 clicks in a row, in a row, in a row.
But let's talk about that a little bit. Like, so from decision making, like where my head was at, and where like you're going to come across this probably in the fire department, is especially if you get into the admin side of things eventually, which most guys have to at some point in their careers. Is that, like, from a decision standpoint, the easier thing to do was to continue on with the other, we won't bash that software, PT Hub was terrible, but we won't bash that thing. So it was to continue on with this software that we as the coaches and as the operators hated. We got terrible feedback from our members, and, but we already had it working, and we knew how to use it. Right. But we were gonna continue on that same route and expect different results, and we never had good results from it. And so, like, the decision was made, and it probably took too long to make that decision, or maybe COVID really expressed that decision, because it wouldn't really have needed it, and we probably would have never done it. We've talked about that a million times on the online. It was, we're thankful that for a lot of ways for this, because it forced us to do some things we should have been doing. And anyways, making that decision, and then at some point, sometimes as a leader, you have to make an unpopular decision, and you have to just put your foot down and say, like, hey guys, I've heard what you have to say. I understand what you're saying. We are going in this direction. That's my decision. We're all in this together. The arrow's back going in one direction. And, they talk about the arrow all the time. It's got a spear, right? It's got the 3 points on it. And if all the points aren't heading in the right direction, you're not going to hit your target. And what happened, it was a huge for us. It was a huge hit with our members, but it was also in many ways kept us alive as far as like new membership, and like giving us some cash flow that was necessary to pay checks and to pay some bills, and to make sure that, everybody could do what they had to do without going on EI. That was always our big one. That was the mission from day one, was all the full-timers stay completely employed. Don't miss one minute of pay. And we were able to do that. Super proud of that. So Let's see. What do you think? Like as far as skill set, off the top of my head, I'm like, what skill set are you going to bring that you got here into the fire department? I know that I feel like the West Side Tactical could be big for you, and really not personal way, but in like benefiting the people that you work with, that higher knowledge.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things like the gym's really taught me more of like one teamwork thing has been something that's been a part of my life for a long time. But I think more than anything is seeing it in a different avenue. So instead of like teamwork being specific to a sport, being able to see how it's done and how beneficial it is through a business, how you can relate that to any other job, right? Even though I think the fire department is very similar to a team in that way, but there is a little more kind of hierarchy with it. And so that'll obviously benefit me is knowing kind of where you stand on the ladder and how to approach situations being on different kind of rungs of that ladder. And then
no pun intended, eh? No pun intended.
No pun intended on that. But then the other thing is just too, I think being more comfortable with talking in front of public and talking in front of like, that was a big thing is I was nervous talking in front of big groups of people or people I don't know. And that's a huge part in the job. And when you're doing public education and talking in front of schools and people, and I even noticed it one day I got thrown up on a board. I was at an orientation. I get thrown up on the board to go write something on the board, where before I'd be so nervous just to like, go up there and do it and be in front of the class and kind of have all eyes on you. Whereas now it was like, I do this every single day and I can go up there and I can talk and I can explain things and I can write poorly, but it's on the board and I don't feel any kind of jitter towards that. And I don't have like, I think that was one of the biggest things I've gone through is just that public speaking and being able to comfortably talk in front of people that I don't know and how to relate to people and how to read not just an individual conversation, but read a whole room while you're doing things. And then being able to kind of see as you're having a conversation that, okay, these 8 people get it. These 3 people are going to be fine, but these 2 people over here, I could already tell look worried. So that's who I'm going to go bring my guidance to after this, because the rest of them, it's like that triage, just, you can see kind of what needs to be acted at first. So I think that, in a way is going to help me a lot. And just a lot of the leadership lessons I've picked up from you and through this mentorship and seeing how you are with the team, how you can lead a team of, 5, 6 plus part-timers and how you can lead a community through a business is just been incredible to see and how you do that and how you present yourself and how you're not trying to, hide your actual personality in front of things and being able to, face things you've done and stuff that you've done through your career and how you've dealt with it and mental side of things. And all those lessons I've learned from you, I think that'll really benefit me and especially the stuff you've done mentally in the way of, kind of fighting your own kind of demons and battles and seeing how terrible it was for you to go through some of that stuff. And now hearing firsthand, this is what you should do while you're doing it, face it before it happens. And these are techniques to use and these are people to talk to. And I think that guidance and seeing it, learning from your experience, obviously I'm going to have my own way of doing some things, but really seeing things you've done and hearing lessons you've had, I think is going to be, besides from the gym part of things, our personal relationship is going to make me hopefully very great firefighter through the rest of my career.
Well, I'm sure it will. And I appreciate those nice words you're saying. I do think that, one like grim fact is that you are about to see a whole lot of dead people and, a lot of things and some mangled people and some burned people, which I can tell you the burned people are some of the worst ones I saw. Not to get too grim for the listeners, but that's the fucking facts. And that's one of the reasons why you guys listen to the show probably is to hear things like that and car accidents and, those things. And to make sure that not just yourself, other people, because like there are some real grim scenes I went to that had zero effect on me. It's really weird. You can't really, sometimes you go to it, it feels like a movie scene. It doesn't feel real and it has zero effect, bothers you at none. And then some you go to, and it could be even like a small thing. I was watching a TV show the other day, and they were at the burial ground. They weren't even like it wasn't even for a ceremony. It was some show, and they were talking about buying plots. And it just like, I'm thinking of like, my grandparents and things. It's just like the weird how things can like trigger something in you that causes some problems. So just making sure that the guys around you and girls around you are okay with it. And like, who knows? I don't know how they're treated up there. I don't know. I know they've made huge improvements with Windsor Fire, talking with Steph's husband Craig and, John Ray and stuff of how they've implemented that. Cause it was, greatly overlooked, I think, in my day of hiring, and even more so in those olden days. But is that, that grim. And I think it's people get on these jobs with this, like, I just want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman, but they don't realize who they're actually going to be encountering, what they're actually going to be encountering, and the terrible things. So make sure, like, it's like brushing your teeth, man. Keep that head clear and clean, and make sure that you don't just hang out with firemen. And then, I always say that to cops, like, keep your friends. It's very easy when you're working these weird shifts to only be available. And that really, because your friends are working and shit, you have no choice. You're hanging out with cops, and they're fun, great people to be around. It's not a bad thing. It's just that you never leave that world, and it starts to take you over. And that's the last thing I really, would want for you. So let's talk about Stephen Kidd. So speaking of nice people, Steve's wife, dropped me off some amazing cookies the other day at the side door. Best part about you being away from COVID, like last time we were together the whole time, but I don't split any of these treats that get dropped off now. They're all mine or my kids.
Bring it this way.
So Stephen Kidd, financial advisor. Does your financial advisor really take the time to listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? When you work with Stephen Kidd, your local Edward Jones financial advisor, he focuses on what's important to you, and you'll work together using an established process to create a personalized financial strategy backed by the advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And you'll partner to help your strategy stay on track. Contact Stephen Kidd today at 519-734-8599. That's 519-734-8599. Edward Jones, member, Canadian Investor Protection Fund. So obviously I've taken my focus today. You guys all know my HQ Nutrition focus. I think it is the best stuff on the market, especially if you had concussions like me and Casey, or if you're looking at, I don't just use it like as like an upper. I just feel like it like dials me in for way more just like it says, way more focus, that cognitive support. It's full of all great things. Danny even told me it's got all kinds of great things in it for women when dealing with their time of the month, which is pretty crazy. Have a look at her Instagram. She was explaining it to me that some of the things in there are great for, I guess, like helping you guys through that. I'm not going to step out of my lane too much more than that.
Talk about what you know.
But anyways, if you guys are interested, you can just go to that HQ Nutrition website, HQ Nutrition in Canada, and use my code Tango15 to get 15% off. So that's Tango 15, capitals, all capitals on those letters, and 15% of your whole order. Or if you're at the garage gym, you can hit us up and we save on shipping. Don't get your 15%, but you do save on shipping. Works out almost just as well. Anyways, okay. So we've covered so much stuff, man. Anyways, I just want to say I am crazy proud of you. I looking forward to hearing the stories, the good and the bad, like I get from Kieran. It's we live in through you as I sit here in my cozy job, and you're out there in the weather, in the freezing cold, fighting fires, getting cars, cars, pulling cars out of the, cutting cars through car doors and car accidents, all those crazy things that you guys be doing, and the first aid and medical. So I know you were talking about one of the cool things, and we'll have this in common, is Richmond Hill, and this particular station you're going to does a lot of high rises, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of rope training.
Their department, they do a lot of the technical rescue in that area, which is something that you always have to build your way onto one of those teams. But I know even in the recruit class, I think our third week, we're going to be going through rope rescue and probably low angle rescue. We'll probably do some rappelling and stuff, which is great because that stuff, I did a technical rescue course a couple of years ago and got to rappel kind of in New Zealand and do things like that. And it's just one of those like super fun, exciting things. And I know you did a lot of rappelling with the SWAT team. And so I'm really excited for the schooling things. And one, because it's practical, everything you learn, you're going to be using in the real world. But part of that job is it's a cool job physically. Like there's a lot of fun things that I think, obviously when it's in real world situations, you can't really see it as fun, but the training side of things, like I think it'll be a blast getting to do some high angle rappelling and rope, everything there is to do with technical rope rescue and other type of technical rescues through trench and ice water and a lot of that stuff. So I'm just excited for it all.
That's sweet, man. Like the ropes, I think it is such a good comparison to like life and like the gym and shit, is that like I was absolutely terrified to step off the building the first time I had to rappel. And we used the old school figure eights. I know some places have gone back to that again, and you had to step off. So you're standing at the very top. So I'm trying to just be descriptive as possible since most people aren't watching this. Standing on top of the building, like on the ledge, facing backwards, and you actually have to step. So you basically like free fall, and then you're now walking. So now my body or my back would be like parallel to the floor. So that first 2 steps off that building until you feel the harness catch is amongst the most terrifying like 2 steps in like I've ever, like it's awful. I remember hating it, dreading it. And like I would wake up in the morning like feeling nauseous, knowing that's what the training was coming. And then towards how getting out of your comfort zone and repeatedly doing something can just change it. And that was off a tiny building, how scared I was. And then by the end, I'm going like head first down, like, the Hilton downtown and off the casino and off all these wild things and doing, kind of like tricks and having some fun with it. And then you realize that, and that's what I look forward to you with your training, because I know how much you're into this. Is just like, I used to like, there was days on that team, especially when I would just like had to snap yourself out of it and be like, am I getting paid to do this? Like, it is actually very fun. It's so awesome. And you're doing things that like, whether you use them or not, hopefully you will, or hopefully you won't, I guess. But whether you use them or not, it's just like something people just don't get to do. So enjoy every moment of it. And, don't get, just like the gym again, don't focus only on the main goal, enjoy every step of that way. So let's call it right there. Cheers, buddy. Very proud of you. And this will not be the last podcast. And you know what? The podcasts are actually going to get better because we won't be fucking spending 14 hours a day together.
Exactly. No, thank you. And yes, I'm very excited, but things are going to stay going on this side of things through the podcast and everything. So it's all going to work out. It's going to be good. And thank you for the whole experience through the gym and everything, and everyone else who's a member at the gym and been employees at the gym. Is you guys have really helped shape me into, I think, now being able to be the best candidate I can be. And so thank you just for all the experiences and fun and laughs and everything over the past few years. It's been an incredible, it's crazy to think that I've only been in this city for, just over 2 years, but I feel like I have a whole life here and family and everything. So it's just been, it's been incredible to be brought into this place. So thank you. And thank all the members and everybody else. Thank you guys.
Tomorrow's the big one though, buddy. Tomorrow, Mr. Casey, my kids idolize this guy. Tomorrow it's got to be the big goodbye. So that one's going to be a mover. And that's the thing almost, anyways, we're going to cut this because we're both starting to cry.
Now's the time to do more and be more.